There is a whisper beneath the noise of your mind, a voice so subtle you mistake it for your own. It speaks in the cadence of your fears, the rhythm of your desires, the looping narratives of your past. Yet it does not belong to you. This is the first and most insidious deception. The belief that every thought passing through the theater of your consciousness is yours alone. But what if the stage was set long before you arrived? What if the script was written by unseen hands, and you, the actor, forgot you were merely reciting lines? We live in an age of unprecedented connection, yet the greatest disconnection is not between people, but within the self. The modern world is a labyrinth of borrowed ideas, inherited traumas, and implanted suggestions. Each thought a thread woven into the fabric of your reality by forces both ancient and engineered. From the moment you were born, you were handed a map of the world, told where the boundaries lie, what to fear, what to worship, what to want. But who drew the map? And why do so few question its borders? Consider this. Every culture, every religion, every system of power has one thing in common. They thrive on the unexamined mind. They do not need to chain the body when they can colonize the imagination. The most effective prison is the one you do not see, the one you mistake for freedom. And the key to that prison? It is hidden in plain sight, in the very mechanism we assume is ours alone, thought itself. But here is the revelation, the first crack in the illusion. Thought is not creation, it is reception. You are not the source of your thoughts any more than a radio is the source of the songs it plays. You are a receiver, tuning into frequencies, some benevolent, some manipulative, some so ancient they hum in the bones of humanity itself. The question is not what you are thinking, but who is thinking through you. This is not a call to paranoia, but to awakening. To recognize that your mind is not a closed system, but an open field, where forces seen and unseen vie for influence. Some of these forces are external, the ceaseless barrage of media, the subliminal cues of advertising, the unspoken rules of societal conditioning. Others are far older, archetypal, echoing through the collective unconscious like ghosts in a machine. And still, others may be something else entirely. Energetic imprints, fragments of past lives, or even intelligences beyond the veil of ordinary perception. The moment you realize this, the world shifts. The thoughts you assumed were private, personal, yours, suddenly, they become suspect. The anger that flares without reason, the insecurities that whisper in the dark, the cravings that feel alien yet overpowering. What if these are not flaws in your nature, but intrusions upon it? What if your mind is not broken, but hijacked? This is the journey we embark upon, to trace the invisible strings that move you, to distinguish the signal from the noise, and ultimately, to reclaim the sovereignty of your own consciousness. For if thought is the battleground, then awareness is the weapon. And the first step to breaking free is to see the chains for what they are. To understand how thoughts can be foreign, we must first dismantle the most deeply ingrained assumption of human experience, that the mind is a self-contained, self-generated entity. Imagine for a moment that consciousness is not a closed room, but a vast open landscape, a field where winds from unseen horizons stir the grass, where seeds from distant lands take root, where echoes of voices long gone still whisper through the trees. Some of these voices are familiar, comforting. Others are strangers, speaking in tongues you do not recognize. Yet all of them shape the terrain of your inner world. The myth of original thought. Every thought you've ever had is a recombination of something already in existence. Language, imagery, memory, all of it is borrowed, recycled, repurposed. Even the most brilliant innovations are built upon the scaffolding of prior knowledge. But if thoughts are not original, then where do they really come from? The answer lies in the distinction between generation and transmission. Your brain does not create thoughts from nothing. It processes, filters, and interprets signals, some from within, many from without. Consider the phenomenon of mental chatter, the endless stream of commentary, judgment, and noise that fills your waking hours. How much of it is truly yours? How much is the residue of past conversations, societal conditioning, or even ancestral patterns imprinted in your DNA? Studies in epigenetics, reveal that trauma can be inherited, that fears can be passed down through generations, like unopened letters. If emotions linger in the bloodline, why not thoughts? The 3 layers of thought invasion. To map the infiltration of foreign thoughts, we must identify the primary channels through which they enter. The external matrix, media, culture, and social conditioning. From the moment you are born, you are immersed in a narrative not of your making. Schools, religions, governments, and corporations all contribute to a shared script, a story about who you are, what you should want, and how you should behave. Advertisements don't just sell products, they implant desires. News cycles don't just inform, they shape perceptions of reality. Social media algorithms don't just connect, they manipulate engagement by feeding you thoughts disguised as your own. The subtle parasites, energetic and psychic interference. Beyond the tangible structures of control, there exists a subtler layer of influence. Energetic imprints, psychic attachments, even entities that feed on fear, doubt, and low-frequency emotions. Ancient mystics spoke of astral larvae, thought forms that latch onto negativity. Modern psychology acknowledges the contagion of emotions in crowds. Whether framed in metaphysical or scientific terms, the principle remains. Thoughts are not always yours. Some are visitors. Some are invaders. The archetypal undercurrent, collective unconscious, and past lives. Carl Jung's concept of the collective unconscious suggests that certain thoughts, symbols, and fears are universal, inherited not through culture, but through the psyche itself. Add to this the possibility of past life imprints, residual memories, phobias, or talents that seem to emerge from nowhere. Are these thoughts yours, or are you a vessel for something older, vaster? The illusion of free will and the Truman Show effect. If thoughts are not entirely your own, then how much of your free will is truly free? Neuroscience reveals that decisions are made in the brain seconds before we're consciously aware of them. Ancient esoteric traditions claim that most humans are asleep, acting out programs written by others. The modern world, with its constant distractions and dopamine traps, ensures that few ever wake up enough to question the script. But here lies the turning point. Awareness is the disruptor of control. The moment you realize that thoughts can be foreign, you begin to notice them, not as truths, but as passing clouds in the sky of your consciousness. You start to ask, who is speaking? Where did this come from? Does this serve me, or does it serve something else? Thought is not merely a function of the brain. It is an ecosystem, a living network of influences both seen and unseen. To truly grasp how foreign thoughts infiltrate the mind, we must venture beyond theory and into the realm of myth, allegory, and hidden teachings. These are the stories that civilizations have whispered across centuries, the veiled truths that explain the puppet strings of consciousness. The allegory of the radio mind. Imagine your mind as an old radio, its dial spinning through frequencies. Some stations come and clear, your own voice, your memories, your conscious reasoning. But between these, static crackles, distant voices fade in and out, and sometimes a signal so strong it overrides your own thoughts floods the speakers. This is how thought invasion works. You are not broken, you are tuned in. The question is, who owns the broadcasting stations? Ancient mystics knew this. The Hindu concept of manas, the thinking mind, describes it not as a creator, but as a receiver of impressions. The Buddhists speak of the monkey mind, an agitated entity that chatters endlessly, borrowing voices from everywhere. Even modern neuroscience acknowledges that the brain operates like a prediction machine, constantly interpreting signals rather than generating pure originality. The Gnostic prison and the Archons. In the secret teachings of Gnosticism, there exists a chilling myth. Humanity is trapped in a false reality, a cosmic illusion crafted by demiurges called Archons. These entities do not possess true creativity, so they feed on human energy, especially fear, confusion, and blind obedience. How do they maintain control? By infiltrating thought. The Archons, according to these texts, cannot directly force humans to act, but they can suggest. They whisper doubts, amplify insecurities, and distort perceptions so that people imprison themselves. Sound familiar? It is the oldest conspiracy in existence, the colonization of the mind. Modern parallels are undeniable. Social media algorithms that amplify outrage, news cycles that thrive on fear, even the repetitive, hypnotic nature of advertising. All mirror the Gnostic warning. The Archons never left, they just upgraded their methods. The Sorcerer's Apprentice and the thought form epidemic. In Goethe's tale The Sorcerer's Apprentice, a young novice enchants a broom to fetch water, only to lose control as the broom multiplies and floods the house. Desperate, he splits it with an axe, but each fragment becomes a new broom, worsening the chaos. This is the danger of unchecked thought. Every belief, every fear, every obsession is a living construct, a thought form that, once unleashed, can replicate beyond your control. Religions know this, hence the warning against idle thoughts. Occult traditions know this, hence the practice of banishing unwanted influences. Even psychology acknowledges that rumination fuels anxiety and depression. But what if some thought forms are not yours at all? What if they are psychic viruses drifting through the collective mind, latching onto susceptible hosts? Consider how quickly panic spreads in crowds, how trends become obsessions, how entire societies fixate on shared delusions. The mind is porous. Not all thoughts are homegrown. The Tibetan mirror and the illusion of the self. Tibetan Buddhism offers a radical perspective. The self is not a thinker, but a mirror reflecting transient phenomena. Thoughts are like clouds passing over its surface, sometimes light, sometimes stormy, but never permanent, never truly you. This is the ultimate key to liberation. If thoughts are not the self, then they can be observed, questioned, released. The moment you stop identifying with every mental noise, you become immune to manipulation. The external matrix, the psychic parasites, the ancient Archons, all rely on one thing: your belief that their whispers are yours. Take that away, and their power dissolves. The forgotten language of birds. In esoteric traditions, birds symbolize higher knowledge, the ability to traverse realms, to see beyond the veil. Ancient myths speak of a language of birds, a divine tongue that reveals hidden truths. Ironically, modern humanity is drowning in noise but deaf to meaning. We are bombarded with words, images, slogans, yet understand less than ever. The real language of birds is not sound but silence, the space between thoughts where truth emerges. This is where thought control fails. In silence, the foreign voices grow faint. In stillness, the self remembers its sovereignty. The realization that your thoughts are not entirely your own can be unsettling, even terrifying. But knowledge without application is merely entertainment. The true power lies in what you do next, how you filter the signals, silence the noise, and reclaim the sanctity of your inner world. Discernment, the first line of defense. Not all thoughts are equal. Some are nourishing, others are parasitic. The key is to develop discernment, the ability to recognize which thoughts serve your highest self and which are invasive implants. Start by observing your mental patterns without attachment. When a thought arises, especially a recurring, emotionally charged one, ask yourself, does this feel like me, or does it feel foreign? Is this thought rooted in love or fear? Does it expand my awareness or shrink it? You'll begin to notice that certain thoughts carry a distinct energy. Anxiety, for example, often feels jagged, electric, like a scrambled signal. Intuition, on the other hand, flows smoothly, like a quiet knowing. The more you practice this, the easier it becomes to identify and eject mental intruders. Mental hygiene, clearing the static. Just as you cleanse your body, your mind requires regular detoxification. Here's how. Digital fasting. The modern world bombards you with thought seeds, news headlines, social media posts, advertisements, all designed to hijack your attention. Regularly disconnect. A single day without screens can reset your mental clarity. Nature immersion. Natural environments operate on a different frequency than human-made ones. Forests, oceans, and mountains emit Schumann resonances, Earth's natural vibrations that harmonize brainwaves and dissolve mental pollution. Meditation as a firewall. Meditation isn't just relaxation. It's a firewall against invasive thoughts. Even 10 minutes a day strengthens your ability to observe thoughts without becoming them. Energetic shielding, protecting your mental space. Some thought forms are not just psychological, but energetic, attachments, psychic projections, or even entities that thrive on low vibrational thinking. Ancient traditions offer protection methods. Visualize a mirror shield. Envision yourself surrounded by a mirrored sphere that reflects back all harmful energy, returning it to its source. Salt and sound cleansing. Salt baths and sound frequencies, like Tibetan singing bowls, disrupt stagnant energy and reset your mental field. Invoke the higher self. Before sleep or meditation, declare, "Only thoughts aligned with my highest good may enter. All else is repelled." Words have power. Rewriting the script, reprogramming your mind. Once you clear the noise, you can consciously install new thought patterns. Affirmations alone are weak. They must be paired with embodied belief. Here's how to reprogram effectively. Identify limiting programs. What false narratives have you inherited? I'm not good enough. The world is dangerous. I must earn love. Trace these to their roots, parents' trauma culture. The 21-day mental overwrite. For 3 weeks, replace each limiting thought with a liberating one. But don't just recite it. Feel it as already true. The subconscious accepts what you emotionally embody. Anchor in the body. Thoughts lodge in the nervous system. Yoga, breathwork, and even cold exposure rewrite fear-based programming at a cellular level. The power of sacred silence. In a world addicted to noise, silence is rebellion. The more you cultivate inner quiet, the more you hear your true voice, not the echoes of others. Try this. Daily silence ritual. 1 hour a day, no speech, no media, no external input. Just you, undistracted. Over time, the mental fog lifts and your authentic thoughts emerge. The ripple effect, freeing others by freeing yourself. As you liberate your mind, you disrupt the collective trance. Your clarity becomes a beacon, showing others what's possible. This is the ultimate act of resistance, awakening. We stand at the precipice of an unseen war, one waged not with weapons, but with thoughts. The battlefield is your mind. The stakes, your very perception of reality. For too long, humanity has wandered in a hypnotic slumber, mistaking borrowed ideas for original truth, programmed responses for free will, and mental noise for the self. But now, the veil is thinning. The age of awakening is here. The grand realization, you are not your thoughts. The culmination of this journey is not a secret technique or esoteric ritual. It is a simple, seismic shift in understanding. You are not the voice in your head. You are the one who hears it. This is the master key to liberation. Thoughts come and go like weather patterns, some natural, some engineered. But the sky, your awareness, remains untouched. When you stop identifying with every mental event, you withdraw consent for manipulation. The external matrix loses its grip. The psychic parasites starve. The ancient Archons find no foothold. You become ungovernable. The call to sovereignty. This is not a passive revelation. It demands action. Now that you see the strings, you must cut them. Declare mental independence. Reject the narratives that no longer serve you. Question every fear, every should, every inherited belief. Choose your thoughts as consciously as you choose your food. Become a guardian of your mind. Treat your mental space as sacred ground. Let no thought enter without scrutiny. If it does not empower, enlighten, or expand, discard it. Join the awakened minority. The world changes when individuals wake up. Your clarity creates ripples. Your freedom inspires others. This is how empires of illusion fall, one unshackled mind at a time. The final invitation. The path ahead is not easy. There will be moments of doubt, of slipping back into old mental grooves. But remember, every time you catch a foreign thought and say, "This is not me," you strike a blow against centuries of conditioning. Every moment of silence amidst the noise is a revolution. The question now is simple. Will you remain a prisoner of unseen forces? Or will you rise, thought by thought, breath by breath, into the luminous truth of who you really are? The choice at last is yours.